discuss calculate questions and see how we can implement them in KoboToolbox. If you've been following up on this tutorial, you've seen that we've been using a use case example of a school assessment questionnaire in the context of Kenya, and that's the same questionnaire that we're going to just follow up on in this tutorial. And calculate questions allow us to perform automatic calculations within the form based on values on other questions, and here you can just allows you to automatically get computations, then use the derived values to provide real-time feedback, and also you can use them in your data analysis later. So some of the benefits is can help reduce manual errors. For example, if you want a user to enter a value, then maybe you may want them to perform a calculation. So instead of them performing it, let the form perform automatically. Also, it will save time for the enumerators because now they just fill the questions that they need to do, then the form will calculate at the end automatically. It also provides analysis-ready variables, and it ensures that you'll be able to save time also during the data analysis. And also, most importantly, is the real-time feedback during data collections. So there are some things to keep in mind when working with calculate questions, and one of them is you cannot use both numeric and string calculations in the same question. This means, for example, unless you are concatenating questions, you are using the concat, you can't say maybe a question that is numeric, like the number of teachers, then you say number of teachers plus maybe the name of the school. That cannot work. So that's you need to ensure that they're of the same type if you're using operators. Also, if you are using arithmetic calculations, remember you follow the BODMAS rule that we use in mathematics, that we say brackets and then orders, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. That's just the way we use in Excel. Then calculate questions that reference other questions should not be placed on the same group as the reference group, since they calculate will not appear unless you move from those groups. So what am I saying here? So remember we had some group questions in KoboToolbox, and if I can just open the form that we used previously. So if we have a question inserted, let's say here where we have the teacher's assessment group, then we want to reference that question is referencing something here in the head teacher's contact. So remember you haven't populated that question, so it won't work here. So we need to first begin on where the form works. Then the next is when referencing, remember the $sign that we do, and then embrace the questions in curly brackets. You can also force a calculation to evaluate by setting the required is true, just the way we've been setting compulsory questions. So what are the types of questions we have? The KoboTool documentation website gives us a list of calculations that we can do. We can do addition, we can do subtraction, multiplication, division, just the same way as we do most of them in Excel, and we shall see how we implement some of them. You can use the sum, you can use the square root. You can also use the absolute function, which returns the absolute value of an integer or a decimal value. And then you can concatenate strings or questions using the concat symbol. This allows you just to merge or just concat text the way we use it in Excel. Then you can extract a substring from a text string. Also, you can do power, you can count select, then you can work with some date questions as we shall be seeing them in our example. I've highlighted this in red because although we have this in our documentation in KoboToolbox, it doesn't really work when implemented. Maybe that's there needs to be a workaround towards it, but you can't be able, if a user selected a date, you can't be able to extract maybe the month from that date. So it doesn't work as is given. Apart from the arithmetic operators, you can work with logical operations, and just the same way we use in Excel, you can set a condition if it's true or false, and you can say if it's equal or if it's less than. For example, if your score is less than 15, then you fail, otherwise you've passed. You can use also the greater than symbol, then the not equal, and you can merge using the or and the and symbols, and we shall be seeing this in examples in the second part of this video. So those are just a great overview of what we need to do today, and let's just go ahead and see if we can implement some of them within our calculation. So in our school-based assessments sample, we would like us to go ahead and just implement some of these. So let me just open the XLS form that we had. This is what we used in the previous video, and I've just added some extra rows within some of the groups that we can be able to implement what we are saying here. So let me just put it side by side so that you can be able to see both the XLS form and the Word document that we have been using. So we start with a simple arithmetic, and here we can be able to see, maybe the number of girls plus the number of boys, and then have the total number of students. So we can come here, we head we had the condition of the classroom, we also head whether they have the school source, so we can add a question here. So we can come here and add a group, just begin a group here. So insert, then I'm going to make it no fill. So begin group. Then here what you want to do is just add the number of students. So this will be like, let's say page 2A, so that we ensure that they follow the syntax the way it works. Then students or pupils. So the first question will be an integer based question, and we'll just say, let's say the number of boys. So say number of boys. Then of course another integer question, then girls, then number of girls. Then now, instead of having the total question, we can have instead of having the user now type the total number of students, we can just add here as a calculate question. So we're going to say calculate, it's a type of question. Then we're going to say total pupils. This will be the number of total pupils, just the same here, total pupils. Then now for calculate questions, we need to add another column, just as we've been adding a column for each. And here I'm going to add a column known as calculation. So calculation, so that I can add my calculations in this column and so forth. So what do we need? Based on our highlight here, we just need to say the total learners are boys plus girls. So I'm going to say here, just $, boys, referring to the question, plus $, maybe girls. Then to ensuring positive values, I'm going just to copy this command that we had here, and then I'm going to ensure that each question is true. So I'm going just to paste the same thing here, also here for the girls, so that we only accept positive values. Then I'm going to end that group, end underscore group. Then it's page 2A. So that's another group that I've ended. We can do a division. Let's test a division question. So division question, let's say maybe create a question on a teacher-learner ratio. So calculate, and then this is gonna say teacher-learner ratio. And this is just the division of the number of learners divided by the number of teachers, and we're going to do it to 2 decimal places. So I'm going to do just the same thing here, teacher-learner ratio. So it will be here. We're going to say now our main question now that combines the total number of students is total pupils. So we're going to do it here, $, total pupils. Then you're going to say div. Instead of now the slash sign, we're going to use the div symbol. And then we have the question of teachers. So we had it as, what was the name of the question? Number of teachers. So num teachers, so that we ensure we just use the same syntax. Remember, we want to round them off, so I'm going to come here at the front and just add the symbol round, just the same way you do in Excel. Then round that to 2 decimal places and press them in brackets, in just normal brackets. You can go ahead and also add maybe another bracket here, so that maybe this can be evaluated first, then meaning the output, this output is now given to 2 decimal places, Then maybe something else we can do here, we can use a if command, where we'll be saying if maybe the ratio is below maybe 50%, if the ratio is below 50%, maybe few teachers. If it's above 50%, maybe the ratio is okay. So let me add that question here. So another calculate question, and we're going to say teacher-learner ratio comment. Just add another statement here, teacher-learner ratio comment, and so teacher learner, just repeat the same thing here, then add the statement comment. So teacher learner ratio comment, and there I'm just going to use an if command. So the way we say if works, the same thing. So if, then the condition, then value if true, value if false, just the way we do it in Excel. So and I'll just show you. If we just put the statement if, in Excel you see the logical test, value is true, value is false, and all of this should be mentioned here. So I'm going to say if, now what do we want? This question now, the teacher learner ratio, I'm going to copy it as is. So I think I need to change this. So teacher learner ratio, copy that, and then so if teacher learner ratio, now remember we put it in the dollar sign and the curly brackets, teacher learner ratio is less than, so it will give us a percentage. It will give us a percentage. So if it's less than 0.5 in decimal points, what do? We comment few teachers, meaning that now the number of teachers are less than the number of students. So few teachers, else just return normal acceptable number of teachers. Let's say normal teachers, enough teachers. Just use that simple statement. Then just close the bracket. So enough teachers. So that's what we have it here. I think just ensure curly brackets and then like that. So what this will do, will ensure that we have the statement if, and it will follow that. Allow me not to go to the multiple if statements. We will use this in the second video where we'll be using the nested if, and then see how we can do also the date-based question. So something to note before we test this form, we expect that these outputs will not be seen to us. So we'll just populate them as is, and then see the responses for the user. So I'm going to save this. Let's save this, and then close our form. Then I'm going to go ahead and just open our questionnaire. So let's go ahead and open our questionnaire and see how it looks like. So allow me to log in into my KoboToolbox account. Ensure so that you can build up on our questionnaire that we had before. So we used this school assessment here. So I'm just going to replace the form. Using our questionnaire, and I'm going to browse to where the questionnaire is right now. So that it can be easy. So upload XLS form and just drag it to where questionnaire is. Then deploy. So when we deploy, the KoboToolbox will test, and we see here we already have an error. So what does it tell us? It tells us now bind attached could not understand this expression. So let's go back and see what the problem is, because now it hasn't been able to evaluate. So it's a question based on the total pupils here. So we have this total pupils. So remember we edited the calculate question, so total pupils, and the teacher learner ratio is here. Then we have this. We written it in the same way. Let's just ensure we have it in the same format. Also here, for boys and girls, we forgot a dollar sign. So this is the problem that we have it here. So we forgot the dollar sign, and it has been flagged off. So let's replace the form the same way. I've saved the form, so I just need us to upload it the same. So it takes a little bit of time. Let's see if there's any other error. It will now give us a warning. Then we open the form. It tells us there's a record from the previous responses. So let's just give it a minute, and I'm going to refresh. Just discard the form. Give it a minute. I think now, do we have it? I think we have it now. So, and then we just go ahead and finish and just populate the form. So So I've gone ahead and filled up the form. We see I've just selected some weird locations. Maybe just say choose Nairobi. Just somewhere in Nairobi there. Then I've taken away some questions, filled up the number of classrooms, the number of boys, the number of girls. Then just go ahead and submit the form. So it allows, asks me if I can log it now. Remember, the question here is because I haven't allowed individuals to submit this form without permission. So just say go ahead and discard. So I'm going to refresh. We refresh and see how it works. So we have a response here. That was submitted today. So let's go ahead and just see how the response looks like. So we have one of the questions here based on how it forms. So we have the school information, we have the county, we have the sub-county, then the name of the school. I think we are working with this. Yes, the name of the school, then Leo School, then the poor. We see here we have now the number of classrooms was 23, and then that the school have water access, yes, pipes. Then the number of boys 204, the number of girls 395. Then here is our calculate question. It even tells us it's a 1 plus 1 question. It's a calculate. So 204 plus 395, it gives us 599. Then let's go and see teacher learner ratio gave us 17.11. So we were able to divide the number of learners divided by the number of teachers, and we forgot to say, and given us, remember we said 0.5, so it gave us this comment, enough teachers, using enough the statement. So there we have it. We've been able to introduce calculate type of questions. Then we've seen how to implement a simple based questions in KoboToolbox. The next video, we're going to see how to use the nested if statement. We're going to also see how to use date-based calculations, and see how can we use event select responses, and then how can we be able to display this output of questions to the user, because while filling these forms, in as much as you were able to see the number of boys, let's say 30, the number of girls 40, you didn't get an output. You needed an output. So how can we be able to bring that output to the user? Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.